But you know
Teddy.
what, Teddy? He came after me. I wasn't going after. He would come to my shows. He would come to my shows, and he was a very aggressive male. I'll put it that way. You know, he was the one.
Turn him off.
Wasn't.
That's what he used to say.
Yeah, right.
He was aggressive.
Come on. Let's get it on.
Well, yes, if you look like this with the bathing suit on, the bikini,
Woo!
and you had your beautiful jumpsuits on, Freda, I'd be aggressive too.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, it was like that. He was, and you know what I had to kind of like, you know, put him at arm's length because he was just too much. He was just too much. If you read my book, there was an incident that happened, and this is all true. And this was back in the 70s as well. And we had just left my sister. My sister had a barbecue at her house in Laurel Canyon, and he had been invited. So when we got ready to leave to go back to my house, because I used to live up in the Hollywood Hills, and we were in the car. And I remember at the time, my son was like 5 years old, and his son was also 4 or 5. And they were sitting in the back, and I was driving my car. And so we were on Sunset Boulevard, and we were approaching this car dealership of like high-end sports cars. He said, pull over. I want to check these cars out. We pulled over, and just before we got to get out, we saw lights flashing in the back, and it was the police. The police had, you know, pulled up right behind me. And then they came over, and before they came over, he reached in his pocket and took out a little vial of cocaine. Oh. He said, "Here, put this in your bra." And I did.
Oh!
I did. I put it in my bra. And all they did was say, we hadn't done anything other than just pull over. And so I have a feeling they recognized who he was. And they were just messing with us. You know, so they asked me for my registration, driver's license. I did all of that. And that was it. But after that, I said, I'm done with him.
But look, Freda, this is a trip, because if you had gotten caught, you would have been an accessory, and it would have been an unsung about how Freda Payne went to prison.
Yeah.
Yes. Wait a minute,
I know, but that's why you have to watch, like I say, watch who you hang out with.
Because wait, this makes no sense. They pulled her over as the driver. He gives her the cocaine. It should be the other way around. Why are you giving it to me? They're gonna search me, not you, fool. Oh,
well, because they probably knew. They probably knew about Teddy. But do you remember, Freda, that whole story? Remember when J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez, was with P. Diddy, Diddy, and they were driving, and remember Diddy, that they threw that gun out the window? He threw it on J-Lo's lap, and then they threw it out the window?
Yeah.
Same thing.
That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. And I know, hey, listen, there was a time when I lived in New York, I knew some drug dealers. Matter of fact, and it's in my book. I had a boyfriend, and this was like, I was like about 23, about 24 years old at the time. And I was living in New York, and we started dating this guy. And he said, I'm in real estate. I got brownstone apartments up in Harlem, blah, blah, blah. And he was just 3 years older than me. And then come to find out, after we dated about like 3 or 4 months, and I was in love. At least I thought I was in love. I really was. And then I found out he was this big time drug dealer. And yeah, he was a drug dealer. And I continued to go with him because I was in love by that time.
Two funny mamas. Two funny mamas. Two funny mamas.